God passes the sentence of death upon men's nearest and dearest mercies so that he may win them to a more complete and full dependence upon himself. Man is a creature apt to hang and rest upon creature props. I looked on my right hand and beheld, says the psalmist, but there was no man that would know me. Refuge failed me. No man cared for my soul. Psalm 142, 4. Well, what does he do now that all props fail him? Why, now he sweetly leans upon God. I cried unto thee, O Lord. I said, Thou art my refuge and my portion in the land of the living. Verse 5. Sennacherib, an Athenian captain, used great valor in the Persian war. He pursued his enemies who were laden with the rich spoil of his country. They were ready to set sail and be gone, but he held the ship with his right hand, and when that was cut off, he held it with his left. That also being cut off, he held it with the stumps until his arms were cut off, and then he held it with his teeth until his head was cut off. It is the very temper of most men and women in the world that they will hold upon one prop, and if God cuts off that, they will catch hold of another until God cuts off all their props, and then they will come, rest, and center in God and say, All my springs are in thee. Psalm 87, 7. D. God strips his people of their dearest mercy so that he may work their hearts to a more diligent examination of their own hearts and ways, so that they may say with the church, Let us search and try our ways and turn again to the Lord. Lamentations 3:40. The Hebrew word rendered search signifies to search as you would to find a person in disguise. When God's hand, when God's rod is upon our backs, our hands must be upon our hearts, and we must cry out, What evil have we done? Seneca reports that Sextus would every night ask himself 3 questions. 1, what evil have you healed today? 2, what vice have you stood against this day? 3, in what part have you bettered this day? When the storm beats strong upon you, you need to see what Jonah is asleep at the bottom of your soul, so that he, being discovered and cast overboard, your soul may be safe. For in the drowning of your sins lies the security of your soul. E. God strips his people of their dearest outward mercy so that they may be more compassionate toward those who are or shall be in the same condition as themselves. The Jews at this day in their nuptial feast and mirth break a glass with wine in remembrance of Jerusalem, saying, when they throw it down, Thus was Jerusalem broken. What they spill in wine, they fill with tears. Is it not a shame to have the same name, the same faith, the same Christ, the same profession, etc., and to desire always to tread on roses? Is it not a shame to be embarked in this great ship of Christianity with so many brave spirits and to hide under hatches? Saints should be like 2 lute strings that are tuned one to another. No sooner is one struck, but the other trembles. F. God strips his people of their nearest and dearest outward mercies so that they may better prize and taste their spiritual and heavenly mercies. Diogenes noted the folly of the men of his time. They undervalued the best things, but overvalued the worst things. Ah, that this were not the sin and shame of professors in these days. God takes away uncertain riches so that his people may the more prize certain riches.